Deep Dive Podcast by the Boca Raton Tribune.
Have you ever had that feeling, that urge to find something special right in your own neighborhood? Like discovering hidden gems where you thought you knew every corner, almost like a mini adventure without leaving home. Well, today we're diving into exactly that. We're exploring the Boca Raton Historical Society's Toasts, Tastes, and Trolleys event. And this isn't just, any local tour. It's apparently a huge deal. Sells out instantly every single year. So our goal today is to figure out why. Why are these trolley tours so incredibly popular? What's the unique experience they offer? And what insights do they give us about Boca Raton itself beyond just the usual historical facts? We want those sort of nuggets of knowledge that make it special. I have a feeling a big part of it is getting access, like real access to places most people just walk or drive past. And maybe that feeling, that sense of being on vacation without being on vacation, it just sounds appealing, right?
It really does sound captivating. And, how they package local history and community stuff into something people clamor for year after year, that's impressive. It taps into something deep, I think.
Yes.
That desire we all have to connect more meaningfully with where we live, not just seeing history, but experiencing it, feeling like you belong.
Exactly. And the whole experience, it kicks off pretty glamorously, actually. Imagine a pre-boarding reception. It's at the Misner Center at the Boca Raton. And there's this whole motorcade of vintage Molly's trolleys lined up, sponsored ones. It feels exclusive right away. Just the trolley passengers, historical society people. And the historian Sue Gillis is there, too. Feel like you're in the know. And then something interesting happened right at the start, during the welcome speech. Dawn Zook, who's apparently key to the event's success, she made this announcement, sort of unintentionally made news. She shared that Mary Sizer, the executive director who's been there for ages, like the heart of the society, she's retiring at the end of the year. Mary was there but didn't speak. You could sort of feel the news land in the room.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Because it just instantly highlights how personal these things are, especially for nonprofits and community events. Why does an announcement like that matter so much at a history event? Because someone like Mary, she is Boca history preservation for so many people. Her stepping down isn't just about the organization changing. It's emotional for the community members who are invested, who know her. It really shows you the people behind the institution. You know, their passion is what drives it.
That's a really good point. So, okay, once everyone's on their trolley, settled in, the thoughtful touches continue. They offered wine and beer from Akula Republic National Distributing Co. sponsored that. So right away, it feels relaxed, celebratory. And it wasn't just a drive. Lori Applewhite, she's on the committee and the board. She was on board too. She provided historical context, told stories for each stop. It turned the ride itself into like a guided narrative. That really elevates it, don't you think? Oh, absolutely. That guided narrative is key. It shifts you from just looking passively to actively engaging. Makes each stop feel like a chapter unfolding. It's a great example of how good storytelling can make a tour truly memorable. It's not just showing places, it's giving you the why. Why does this place matter? Connecting you emotionally.
Speaking of memorable places, let's get into some of that exclusive access. One really unique stop was Florida Atlantic University, FAU. They actually went into the presidential suite there. Imagine stepping into this amazing suite, huge views over the stadium, and you're personally greeted by the FAU president, Adam Hasner, and his wife, Jillian. I mean, that's access most people would never, ever get. What does that kind of access really do for an event like this, beyond just being cool, I mean?
Well, it's a brilliant example of partnership, isn't it? Strategic partnership. That's so vital for community events. The Historical Society isn't just asking for a favor. They're showing how they can highlight FAU. And for FAU, it's a chance to engage with, local influencers, potential donors in a really unique personal setting. Builds goodwill, shows community commitment. It's reciprocal. The society gets something exclusive. The university gets this personalized outreach. It's less about the room, more about building those community ties.
Right. Building bridges. Okay, then shifting gears, they went to a piece of pure local history. Fire Station 3, and this is where you meet Old Betsy, Boca's very first fire engine from 1925, a real vintage beauty. Retired Fire Chief Tom Wood, who's apparently known for his talks about Old Betsy, was there telling her story. The source mentioned people loved taking selfies at the historical marker they just put up last year. But my favorite bit, Don Zook's mom, Helen Alford, apparently just scrambled right up onto Old Betsy, so enthusiastic. It just captures that mix, doesn't it? Deep history, but also that personal, spontaneous joy. Age is definitely just a number there.
It really is. And Helen's moment, that really highlights something crucial about making history feel alive. Old Betsy isn't just some old truck. She's part of Boca's story, brought to life by the chief's words and, well, everyone's excitement. But it makes you wonder, how tough is it for historical societies to get, maintain, and then showcase artifacts like that? To make it feel so immediate. It's more than just preserving, it's crafting that encounter. And those personal moments, like Helen's, they're vital. They make history relatable, spark that wonder.
Okay, so from old engines to modern twists. The tour also made a stop at Paradise Bank, which is interesting because it's on a site where a restaurant used to be. Shows evolution, guests got an after-hours peek into their snazzy new executive suite. Pool table, full bar, offices, boardroom, the works. The bank president, Bill Burke, mentioned they've been in Boca 20 years and always involved with the Historical Society. What's that kind of stop tell us about blending past and present?
I think it shows how businesses, especially community-minded ones, can weave themselves into the local story, not just economically, but culturally. Connecting a modern bank to an older site, showing off its cool interior, it provides a contrast to the older historical spots. It reflects how Boca is evolving, right? History isn't just static. It shapes what's happening now. And businesses can kind of become stewards of that local identity, bridging different eras. Shows a vibrant economy and historical appreciation can coexist.
Then the tour took a little detour south to Delray Beach, to the Opal Grand Resort and Spa, described as jaw-dropping. And interestingly, it used to be a Marriott, so again, that theme of change and evolution in the area. Apparently it rained, so they couldn't go up to the rooftop, which I imagine would have been spectacular, but they still enjoyed the monkey bar downstairs, and even got baseball caps with the resort logo. They rolled with it.
Exactly, and that adaptability is so important in event planning, isn't it?
Yeah.
You always have things like weather, so the rooftop might have been plan A, but they salvaged it, made it enjoyable somewhere else. That's key. And it subtly reinforces that idea of landmarks changing identities. Plus, those caps. A smart touch. A little souvenir, a bit of branding.
Yeah.
Makes the visit feel more exclusive, memorable. It's those small details that add up.
Definitely. So to wrap up this whole adventure, the final stop was Kasumi. It's a Japanese restaurant in the lobby of the Waterstone Resort and Marina. They had samples and chopsticks waiting. A really nice culinary end note to the day. By the time the trolleys got everyone back to the Boca Raton, it was after 10 p.m. A long day, but described as time well spent. And it really sounds like it was packed with discovery every step of the way.
Absolutely. The whole flow of the tour, from history to exclusive access, modern spots, ending with food, it feels really thoughtfully put together. It wasn't just a random list of places. It was clearly a journey designed to engage different senses, leave a strong impression. And the fact that a day ending that late is still called time well spent, that says everything about the quality, the engagement level. It felt like a mini adventure.
Yeah, it really does. And, it's so clear that an event like this, year after year success, it doesn't just happen by magic. It takes a huge amount of community effort. We really have to give a nod to the people behind the scenes. Don Zook's committee especially. The source listed quite a few. Laura Malone, Laurie Saunders, Ashley Huxhold, Riley Glasser, Milena DeLuca, Karen Larkin, Roxana Garciga, Andrea Chang, Erica Morano, and Mary Sarr, of course, whose retirement we mentioned. Plus the board president, Denise Allman, was very involved too. It really shows the power of a committed team. Often volunteers.
That's such a critical point. How these community experiences actually come together. It's amazing the sheer number of people involved, often giving their own time and skills. It's not just one person's vision. It's collective passion for local history, for community building. Like the community weaving its own story together. It really highlights that even now, with everything digital, that human connection, that hands-on effort, is irreplaceable for building local culture.
Totally. And supporting all that hard work, you've got the sponsors, which was an interesting mix here. The city manager, George Brown, was listed as the only event sponsor on the brochure itself. That seems like significant public backing. But then you had all these different trolley sponsors: Morgan Stanley Harbor Financial, Berman Law Group, Fairman and Associates, Joni and Al Goldberg, Premier Estate Properties, Red Reef Advisors. That shows really broad support, doesn't it? Public, private, all coming together.
It tells you this event is seen as a real community asset, not just some niche thing. Its success is shared. The city manager's sponsorship, that signals official endorsement, like an investment in local pride, maybe even cultural tourism. And the private sponsors, finance, law, real estate, they see the value in reaching engaged local people this way, associating their brand with something positive. It's a great indicator of the event's reputation and the health of those local partnerships. A model for how you can rally support for heritage.
So bringing it all back, what does this mean for you listening right now? Well, events like Toasts, Tastes, and Trolleys, I offer this really unique chance to connect with your own community, but on a much deeper level. You get to uncover hidden stories, get that insider view on landmarks, old and new. It's about finding adventure right where you live.
Exactly. And thinking bigger picture, these kinds of experiences, they give you a richness you miss just driving by. They turn familiar places into new adventures, foster a real appreciation for local history, but also for how your area is changing, developing. It helps you move from just being a resident to being, well, an informed participant in your community's ongoing story. See things with fresh eyes, understand the past, appreciate the present, maybe even see the future possibilities.
And that's really what these deep dives are all about, right? Finding those illuminating details, those insights that make a topic really click. This Boca Raton events, Toasts, Tastes, and Trolleys, it serves as a fantastic example, a blueprint almost, for making local history fun, accessible, and truly engaging for the community.
Definitely. And given Boca's centennial celebration and the kind of community involvement we saw here, it does raise a question for you, the listener. What kinds of forgotten stories or overlooked histories might be waiting right there in your own town or neighborhood? How could you maybe explore those stories through local groups, historical societies perhaps? And could you help make your local history as engaging and accessible as Boca's seems to be? The past is always around us, isn't it? It's just a matter of knowing where to look and how to share its story.